It is officially October 2nd, which means it's time for me to rank the 6 September new releases that I saw. Now, I have only seen 6. It has not been a good month for me. Not only because football started, and obviously I love football. In fact, I'm going to edit this and then go upstairs and watch football with my grandfather. But also, it's just been a really busy week. Stuff personally going on in the family, and I have a full-time job. I have a part-time job. I'm a full-time college student, and I'm trying to do YouTube on the side. So watching a lot of movies was not in the question. I've only saw 14 movies for the entire month, which is a yearly low, and I'm not too happy about it personally. But, you're not here for that. You're here for me to rank the 6 September movies I saw. Now, not only was it a bad month because of everything I just mentioned, but there was also not a lot of good movies. There's only one movie that's in my top 10. There's 2 that are in the top 15. But there's also just a lot of movies here that just were underwhelming, didn't quite work for me. Even my number 2 is a quite bit underwhelming the more I think about it. But before I dive into my ranking, I would love to hear yours down below in the comment section. What are the September movies you saw and how would you rank them? One more thing, you're probably wondering why the backgrounds. This should be my official background. It's a long, complicated story. Sometime I'll probably explain it in a live stream. But for now, all you're saying, this is most likely going to be the official background. Once I get everything completely moved over here, then I'm going to fix everything and make it look like an official YouTube studio. And with that said, number 6, we got highest to lowest. This is the new Spike Lee film, and it technically released in August because it released in limited theaters, but I didn't watch it in August. I told myself I was going to wait for it to come to Apple TV Plus because money. And if I can watch something at home that I don't even know if I'll like, I will watch it at home to give a review for you guys here. And so I watched it at the beginning of this month when it released, and I didn't think it was good. In fact, I think it's one of my least favorite movies of the year so far. It didn't work for me. It's a movie that's just so weird. It's a weird movie. It's kind of like a fever dream. I think that's what I titled my review, where it's just so odd, so different from anything you've ever seen, but I cannot in good faith tell you that it is a good different from anything I've ever seen. It is a film that, number 1, you do not like the main character. I liked him only because it was played by Denzel Washington. That is the only reason. He's not good. He is not a good character. They constantly try to justify in the movie him letting his best friend's son die because he wants to buy a music studio. Does that make sense? What? How do they expect us to like this character if his best friend standing in front of him saying, please, please pay the ransom so my son doesn't die, and he's just like, sorry man, I kind of have something lined out. So I already hated the character. And the one thing that sticks in my head is the weird music cues. You'll be having a scene talking about the son being kidnapped and how they're going to kill, and you're going to have the sickest, like, piano beat in the background and go, ding, da, ding, da, ding, da, ding, 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 and then it'll be like, oh, my son's going to die if you don't pay this ransom. So weird. Like, it's almost like they composed a score for a different film, and then they changed it and didn't want to repay the composer to create a new score, so they just ran with it. It's weird. People said that the second half of the movie got much better for me. It just really didn't win me over. It never did. I couldn't care about the characters. In the end of the movie, like the final 30 minutes, there are 2 feature-length, like, music videos in here. Like, full-on music videos. One of the one rapper rapping, and then the lead singer singing highest to lowest in the end. That's how the movie ends. So, just a movie that I did not enjoy watching, felt like a fever dream while watching. Gotta go pretty big negative to this one. Number 5, Him. Now, this is the latest, well, I wouldn't say latest because we haven't really had any film like this before. It is a sports horror film following the next GOAT as he goes to train with the current GOAT to learn his tactics in football or whatever. And it's a movie that I just really didn't know how to feel when I left it. Kind of like Highest to Lowest, where I left it thinking, that could have been really good, that could have been really cool. But it never did. It never pushed itself. It never escaped the boundaries of it, and it was just a bad film. The performances by Marlon Wayans is great. I loved his performance in the film. There are some great visuals here. There are some great gory sequences in here. I just didn't know how to feel because the story itself is so all over the place and keeps trying to introduce these messed up elements while also just kind of shoving in scenes that don't really fit from time to time. Like, we'll be talking about something different. The very next scene is completely different. It does not work. It's not scary. It's just shot. Like I said, it's interesting visually, but overall, it's not shot particularly interesting. And the themes of the movie, I just didn't know how to feel about. I think the themes of the movie were kind of exploring that football makes you a cult. If you are a football fan, then your football fan base is a cult because you worship the players. Football bad. And as someone who said in the intro that he is a massive football fan, that kind of pisses me off. That kind of offends me if that's kind of the themes you're going for. That your fan base, if they love a football player, then they'll go crazy and start killing people. I was kind of left with a sour taste in my mouth. So, as cool as the ending sequence was, where he's killing everybody, I really, again, didn't vibe with this film. Number 4, The Strangers Chapter 2. Now, I know everybody hated that original Strangers movie. To me, it was just a fun, bad movie. It was very much a bad movie. But I'm not even going to lie, I had a little bit of fun with it. And so, going into this one, I was hoping that I would have a little bit of fun with it. And, honestly, I did. It is another bad, fun movie. I had fun while watching it. It essentially is a 90-minute chase movie where you're following the lead actress, who is great in the film, by the way, as she's running from the strangers. You get plenty of the strangers killing people, even though every single kill is off-screen, but you get plenty of the strangers disappearing from the shadows and looking menacing for a second. But it also, it is not a good movie. Come on, it's not good. It is entertaining, yes, because this is going to be a movie where in the future, if I watch it with my brother or some friends, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to say, what? This is stupid. What is going on? There's a part in the movie where she's on the run from the strangers in the woods, so she makes a fire because she's cold. You know, the smoke can go up in the air and the strangers could find her. These strangers just make the dumbest decisions possible. There's one sequence where she's hiding in a little cupboard and the masked stranger, the guy stranger, just walks up to the cupboard, looks dead in the eyes inside the cupboard, and then walks away. Or he kills a dude in that sequence. But anyways, he just forgets about her. He just forgets that's happening. Several times in the movie, as Adam Does Movies, one of my favorite film critics, go check him out, mentioned that they shot people with crossbows numerous times in the movie, but when they go to shoot the person they're actually after, all of a sudden they can't shoot. It's dumb. It makes no sense. A pig attacks the lead actress at a point in the movie. A ginormous pig. It's weird. It's dumb. The characters are just stupid. But hey, if I'm going to be honest, I would 100% of the time much rather revisit this movie over the bottom 2, or even what's at my number 3. Because my number 3 is The Conjuring Last Rites. And this was a very disappointing one for me. I do really enjoy the Conjuring franchise. It's actually a franchise me and my best friend talk about quite often. But I really loved all 3 of the mainline Conjuring films. All 3 of those movies are close to an A+. I love those movies. So I was going on this one. Michael Chavez directed The Devil Made Me Do It, which I think is a very underrated film. Like I said, I love it. And I was just very excited for this one. And it didn't really work for me. In fact, I think it is the Halloween Ends of the Conjuring franchise. And I don't say that in a good way. I despise Halloween Ends. Now, it's not as bad as Halloween Ends, because the Halloween franchise does not mean as much, or the Conjuring franchise does not mean as much to me as the Halloween franchise does. But it is just making wrong decision after wrong decision where we're spending 20 minutes at a party with Ed and Lorraine Warren. Like, we're just chilling. Nothing special's going on. The boyfriend's talking about marrying their daughter and they're playing ping pong. But we're not doing what we're actually here for. And what do we go to a Conjuring movie for? We go to the Conjuring movie for the possession stuff. We go to the Conjuring movie to watch people get conjured. I don't go to watch Ed and his health problems play ping pong against his daughter's boyfriend. And the focus on the daughter is just bizarrely weird, where she is essentially the main character. They treat her better as a character than they treat the family that's being haunted here. I do think the last 30 minutes do have a good bit of fun. Actually has the possession stuff. Honestly, the Kaiju Annabelle I think is actually pretty cool in the back half of the film. But overall, it's just a movie that constantly felt like it was making the wrong decision constantly. It felt like it should be focusing on something else, and it focused on the wrong thing. My number 2 is going to tell you how much of a bizarre month this is, because number 1, it's underrated, or it's overrated in my opinion. It's not going to be your all's number 1, but at the same time, it is a good large margin better than the other films. This is a very good film. I just don't think it's as good as the others. That's obviously one battle after another. Now, I was very much anticipating this film. I love the trailer. It is my introduction to Paul Thomas Anderson. And the reviews were obviously saying it is the definitive movie of the decade. And I just thought it was really good. I didn't think it was great. I don't even have it in my top 10 of the year. And it's definitely not the definitive movie of the decade. Leonardo DiCaprio is perfect in here. He's genuinely funny. I keep watching clips that are posted on Twitter that are just absolutely hilarious. What he does in that trailer, the gag about the phone and not being able to tell the time, is some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in a movie. Same thing with Sean Penn. He is great in here. It's the same as Benicio del Toro, who is also really good in here. This is overall an incredibly stacked cast. It's shot very well. I saw it in IMAX, and while I don't think you necessarily need to go watch the film in IMAX, I do think that you do need to go watch it on a big screen. The action can be very intense. There is some pretty good action sequences, had you on the edge of your seat. You don't quite know what's going on. It is very investing. It is surprisingly very funny. But at the same time, I'm seeing people on Twitter saying that the film made them bawl their eyes out. It's like Eddington in the way that the social politics that they just dive into and discover in this film changes their mind about everything in the political world. And I'm just thinking, what? Where did you get that in this movie? What I got was a thriller about Leonardo DiCaprio trying to find his daughter from a crazy government man. That's the movie I watched. People apparently watched the movie about Leonardo DiCaprio trying to change the entire world with his political views. So it's got to be a tad disappointing, saying that I didn't connect with that as everybody else. Even people are saying that the final monologue made them tear up. It didn't connect with me emotionally whatsoever. So I think I watched a completely different film than you guys, because what I did watch was a very good action thriller that is more interesting than the typical action thriller you watch. I didn't watch the movie that is the definitive movie of the decade, one of the most definitive movies made of all time. That's not the movie I watched. But number 1, and I do say that September was a terrible month, well, my number 1 is my favorite movie of the year. So that'll tell you that much. Number 1's The Long Walk. It is a perfect movie. It's directed by Francis Lawrence, who directed most of the Hunger Games movies. I love the Hunger Games movies. So I saw the trailer and I thought, I'm going to enjoy this. Most people aren't, but I am. And then everybody else enjoyed it. And I watched the film, and the hype was true. It is a movie that is just so devastating, so bleak, so dark, so devastating. But it also has themes about friendship. It also has themes about hope. And these characters are hopeful, and they're making friends along the way. And the film does such a freaking good job of making us care for these characters. I cared for these characters. David Johnson obviously is great in here. He is probably my favorite young actor working today. I think he is perfect in this film. Just such a good actor. You also have Ben Wang, who was recently in the most recent Karate Kid movie. He's perfect in this film. The cast is outstanding. You love the relationship. It is brutal. You get to see people get shot in the head. And the first time it happened, my jaw was on the floor, and it happened several times. You get to see people get ran over. It's very gruesome with the poop, because you see people poop the pants a lot, because it's The Long Walk. It's a movie that makes you feel so exhausted by the end, but also the ending is just so satisfying. The ending, I was crying. My dad was disappointed by this movie. He walked up and he said, "Hey, are you ready to go?" And I'm just sitting in the theater seat, and I got tears in my eyes because the ending impacted me so much with its themes, its emotions, its twist, I feel, and just the fact that it's just a movie that is so bleak, so dark, but also has themes of friendship. And this is my one battle after another, where people are saying, "Oh, it's the definitive movie of the decade." I disagree, because this movie, I think, does it better, where it kind of has the analogy, we're living in a dark world. It came out right at the time as a certain political figure was shot. Charlie Kirk. and it came out literally that week. And so you're watching a movie surrounded by people that are just doing everything they can just because they don't like what someone else said. And how America's a torn country. And it came out just at that time where things seem so bleak. Things seem so bleak in the world. And it's a movie that explores hope and friendship in that time. And I feel like it was the perfect time to release this movie. I thought it was released perfectly. I thought the themes resonated with me, and it's a film that I just pretty much sobbed my eyes out to. And I still tear up when I see clips on Twitter because I loved it. I think it's the best movie of the year, and I cannot wait to go see it again. All right, that was my ranking of the September new releases. I would love to know your ranking down below in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you would hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the bell so you never miss another video. And with that said, subscribe.